Hey YouTube, what's up? Boba7772 here, and I'm going to be doing a review of Star Wars Rebels Spark of a Rebellion. So without further ado, let's get started. Wow, I can't believe I messed up there. So, this has been an awkward review so far. I got early access, I guess, to the to watch it. So it's originally going to air October 3rd on Disney Channel as a 1-hour TV movie, but if you're a subscriber to the Disney XD site, if you have to have some kind of certain cable provider in order to watch it on the site, or you can go to a friend's house, or if you're even more daring, find other means to watch it, if you know what I mean. Yo-ho. I ended up watching it, and wow. So I'm on a couple of Star Wars forums on the Force.net boards, and most people who've seen it have been giving it good reviews, but also most people who've seen it have gone into it, as far as I can see, kind of looking at it negatively, and now people are like, oh, it's actually really good. Even the really skeptical people. So I was going into it like, this is going to be freaking awesome, and I went into it like, this is freaking awesome, but it was way too rushed. And what I mean, and I've only seen it once so far. I'm going to I have just a couple more scroll things, and then I'm going to go back and watch it like once or twice more just today, and then I'm going to watch it when it comes out, on the day it comes out again. I'm going to watch it with my dad before that, so I'm going to end up watching this TV movie a lot. TV movie, I don't really think it qualifies as a movie because it's only like 44 minutes long, so it's like 2 episodes together. I mean, they've had some Clone Wars episodes together that were that same length, so I don't think that all counts as a movie. It's about as much of a movie as the Darth Maul arc at the end of season 4, even less than that, if you know what I mean. They released that DVD of The Rise of Darth Maul, where it had the Vengeance episodes and the Maul episodes, and kind of put it together as a movie. So it's kind of like that, only shorter. But it is really good. So I'm looking at this as like 2 kind of bonus episodes put together, because I know that they don't count toward the ending episode count. Neither do the 4-minute shorts. But yeah, I'm going to stop ranting about that and kind of go over my thoughts and the description of the episode. So pretty much, we saw the 7-minute preview before. Ezra pretty much is a street rat, is trying to live off the streets. He rescues this one dude from the Imperials, but also steals some fruit for him for rescuing him, kind of considers it as payment. That was a cool little detail. I think it was Javan. I forgot. So anyway, Ezra ends up seeing Kanan, Sabine, and Zeb, mostly Kanan, and I guess they kind of sense each other with the Force, and all of Ezra's Force stuff kind of seems a little rushed. I'm hoping that they flesh it out in further episodes, because that'll be awesome, which I'm sure they will, but I'm sure that after watching those and then coming back and watch this, I'll be like, oh yeah, this is a lot, less rushed than I thought it'd be. But yeah, so then we see the Ezra starts to steal some of the crates that Kanan and his crew were trying to steal. There's a high-speed chase. Kanan and Zeb chase him down after Sabine kind of lets him go with one of the crates, and then Kanan, like, his speeder bike gets destroyed, so he's like, Hera, come pick us up. So Hera comes and picks him up, and then as the last thing we saw in the preview, Ezra kind of was out running the TIE Fighter, got shot, him and the crate survived, and then the TIE Fighter came back around, and Ezra was like, oh no, and then the Ghost came up and shot the TIE Fighter, and then Kanan's like, come on, come with us if you want to live, this is the best option, and then Ezra's trying to bring the crate, and he ends up bringing the crate. He's still like, this crate's mine. Well, he looks in it, and there's a bunch of Imperial weapons. They go to this little place called Tarkin Town, sell the weapons to this guy whose name starts with a C, I forgot, he's a Deveroni, and they're releasing an action figure of him. It's like something, I think it's got a C, a V, a Z, all those strange letters in it. So they go and sell him the weapons and hand out a bunch of food to the people of this town, and I forgot if I said the name. It's called Tarkin Town because it's people who Tarkin ran off their farms and stuff, because Tarkin's governor of the Outer Rim. So they give it to all of them, and then the dude's like, yo, have some information on some Wookiee prisoners for you. And they're like, OMG, we'll totally take that instead of the money. So they go and attempt to rescue these Wookiee prisoners. Unfortunately, the people who end up going on the ship are Chopper, pretty much everyone but Hera and Ezra. So it's Chopper, Zeb, Sabine, and Kanan. And Zeb and Kanan go one place, and then Sabine and Chopper go another place. Well, the Imperials jam the communications. Kallus comes in because he's investigating the rebellion. He doesn't want a spark of a rebellion, as he so bluntly puts it. And then Hera and Ezra kind of pick this up, and Hera's like, yo kid, you gotta go in, you gotta warn them. And Ezra's like, why should I? Nobody ever does anything for me. It kind of reminds me of Boba Fett in season 2. And then she's like, I know you want to do this. And Ezra's like, I know I don't want to do this, which is crazy, which is why it's so crazy that I am doing this. So he goes, and he ends up trying to warn Kanan and Zeb. And Hera's like, I like this kid. He's cool. She's got it in her mind that he can totally be with us. And then he goes in and warns them, and Sabine and Chopper kind of do their thing. They set the explosives, turn the gravity off, but where Kanan and Zeb are going to rescue some Wookiee prisoners, there's some stormtroopers behind the door. And they don't know that. They think the Wookiee prisoners are behind the door, and Ezra comes in, and so the reference is not so they don't really beat around the bush with it. It's kind of blunt. Ezra runs in, it's a trap, and then they're like, and then Zeb's kind of getting upset. He's like, kid, and then they open the door and stormtroopers come out, and they suck at shooting them because they're the heroes and they can't shoot them. And I'm like, this scene could have played out so much better. They should have probably listened to Ezra, because now it just makes the stormtroopers look pathetic, more pathetic. So they start running, and Ezra uses his slingshot, and I like his slingshot. Ezra's slingshot's cool. I'm going to say it right now. I'm a fan of Ezra, and I'm a fan of his slingshot. The only character I didn't like going into this really too much was Zeb. I didn't like Chopper at first. I've liked him a lot more, especially since the short and since this episode. And Sabine also I like a lot more in this episode. So yeah, that's just kind of side stuff. So our heroes all meet up and they start escaping, and then Kallus grabs Ezra, and everybody's on the ghost except for Zeb, and then Zeb kind of looks and he's like, I'm sorry kid, and he just leaves Ezra. And then Ezra's like, and now Ezra knows that no one's gonna come for him because they left him. I'm sure that he's pretty upset about that. So this is like the longest run on ever, by the way. So Ezra ends up going into the Imperial jail, but he had stolen Kanan's holocron earlier this episode. So he kind of uses the Force, activates his holocron while in the jail cell, and here's Obi-Wan's message of stay away from the Jedi Temple. The clones have turned against us, and we need to go into hiding. So Ezra's like, oh. And then Kanan and everyone's on the ship, and Hera's like, good job everyone, we did good. Where's the kid? He was awesome. And then Zeb was like, I don't know. And they look at him and they're like, what, Zeb? You were watching him. And he's like, he got grabbed, I couldn't do anything. And Hera's like, we need to go back. And then Zeb's like, no we don't, it's a death trap. And Sabine's like, as much as I hate it, I agree with Zeb. And then Chopper beeps, and they're like, what did he say? And Hera's like, he agrees with me. And then they turn to Kanan, and Hera goes, Kanan, you're the deciding vote. And it kind of cuts out. You know what's going to happen. You know what Kanan thinks. So they end up going back for Ezra. Ezra kind of saves himself pretty much. Ezra's pretty cool. He sneaks out, grabs an Imperial helmet, gets on the comm channel, and says that he is one of the stormtroopers, pretending like he is, and is trying to direct the stormtroopers away from him. Eventually he gets out, meets the crew of the Ghost Lands. They see him immediately. Sabine spray paints something, and then excuse me and then and they meet up with Ezra like immediately when they get in, and Zeb punches him in the face because he's wearing a stormtrooper helmet, though I think Zeb knew, and then he's like, sorry, I thought you were one of them. And then the Imperials start running after him, and then Ezra's like going back, like about to shoot him, and Zeb's like, oh no you don't, you're not getting left behind again. And he pushes him into the ship, and then they all get into the ship and start going, and then Kallus kind of puts his fingers down on the spray paint and smells it. He's like, everybody run! And then it explodes and he barely makes it out. But it's cool because he's freaking Callus. And Ezra ended up throwing that McQuarrie Stormtrooper, Snowtrooper, whatever, helmet design thing at him. And he looks at it and realizes that Ezra had used this to communicate with the crew of the Ghost. So he knows where they're going. They're going to rescue the Wookiees. And they know where to rescue the Wookiees because Ezra had heard where to rescue the Wookiees. I'm going way out of order with this episode. I'm just remembering relative information when it comes up. So, they go over to rescue the Wookiees, and then Kallus leads an assault on him. Ezra sneaks behind him and starts to free the Wookiees. Well, there's this one baby Wookiee. I'm assuming it's the son of the main Wookiee. I forgot the Wookiee's names. I'm going to remember the Wookiee's names just right now. I've only seen it once. I need to go back and rewatch it a couple of times. So the baby Wookiee runs off, and a Stormtrooper runs after him, and all the other Wookiees are going, and the main Wookiee, who's the father of the baby Wookiee, or the little kid Wookiee, is like, but no one can understand him, and they're pulling him back. And then they're all, the Imperials are firing at him, they're all under attack, and they're at a shipping dock, and they're like, Kanan goes, Hera, do plan Diego Delta firebomb fart face. I don't know. And pretty much that command thing means they're gonna get in a crate. Hera's gonna pick him up, and then Ezra's like, "Can you let me in on the secret?" And Kanan goes, "Kid, everyone's about to know the secret." Kanan goes out, and this is something we see in the preview. He assembles his lightsaber and he stands there heroically. He like walks out in blaster fire. The Stormtroopers can't hit with anything, and then Kallus is like, "Troops, focus your fire on the Jedi." So Kanan's holding everyone off while Zeb and Sabine get all the Wookiees in the ship. And then Ezra's like, should I go for the little Wookiee? And he's like, okay. He decides to go for it, I guess, because it kind of reminds him of himself. It's reminiscent, because Ezra would like people to go back for him, so he went for the little Wookiee. And then Zeb's like, are you serious? So everybody gets in the crate eventually. Hera comes and picks them up. And then you see the little itty bitty Wookiee running. You see Stormtrooper after him. Then you see Ezra somehow like really close after him, even though it took like 10 minutes for Ezra to start chasing him. And Ezra's like, yo, and the Stormtrooper turns around and like, I forgot if he starts trying to fire, but it looks like he isn't just a total pushover. He actually does try to kill Ezra. He misses. Ezra shoots him with the slingshot, and he falls off. And then Ezra gets to the little Wookiee, and then Kallus comes up. He's like, yo, son, I got you. You're a Jedi, master and apprentice. I'm going to kill you both. And then Ezra's like, I'm not a Jedi. And then, the ship of the Ghost comes up and shoots Kallus like right in the chest, and Kallus falls off, and I'm like, oh my god, they killed Kallus. I was like kind of shocked. And then we figure out that Kallus survived. So did the Stormtrooper that fell off, though. They were both kind of holding onto a ledge, and then the Stormtrooper makes a comment, first time ever seeing a Jedi, sir? And Kallus gets mad, kind of pulls a Grievous, and he kicks the Stormtrooper in the head, and the Stormtrooper falls off. I think the Wilhelm scream comes up at some point. And then they're like, I guess we're dropping you off now. And you can tell Zeb's sad. You can tell Sabine's kind of gonna miss him a little. You can tell that Kanan doesn't really want to drop him off. And Kanan's like, you have something that belongs to me. And then he gives, Ezra gives Kanan the holocron and actually takes his lightsaber too. So they go back and to the planet to drop Ezra off, and Hera and Kanan are talking. They're like, he has the Force, you should train him under your wing. So Ezra gets back to his hideout, opens it, looks at all the cool stuff he has in it, and is holding Kanan's lightsaber. And then he while looking down at it, he goes, what's the Force? And then it shows behind like that, and pretend that I'm Ezra and Kanan's standing in the doorway. Kanan's kind of explaining the Force, how original trilogy people like it to be explained without the midichlorians, all that stuff. And then Kanan's like, I'll give you two choices. You can keep the lightsaber as another heirloom and stay here and keep being a straight rat, or you can come with me, learn the ways of the Jedi. Obviously, it's obvious what he's going to choose. And then Ezra kind of looks down and back at him, and Kanan's gone. So they're all on the ship now. Ezra goes back to the ship, gives Kanan back the lightsaber, and agrees to try to become a Jedi. Obviously, there's going to be hardships, but still. So that's where the episode ends, more or less. There's one more scene. Kallus ends up like really surviving to the extent of he pulled himself up like any normal human would, and he contacted the Sith Inquisitor. And the Inquisitor was like, "Thank you for contacting me." And Kallus is like, "I know your specialty is Jedi." And the Inquisitor is like, "Yeah, I'm totally going to kill these guys." So now we have the Inquisitor. And the Inquisitor is like in the shadows. He looks tough. He looks like he's going to be menacing. Kallus is tough too, even though we lost a billion times. He actually does pose a threat, I think. Same with the Inquisitor. I like also how these are more self-contained stories in the Clone Wars. Like the Clone Wars, we had a Kit Fisto episode, we had an Ahsoka episode, we had a Plo Koon episode, a Boba Fett episode. I mean, it was nice to see all these characters, but I would rather it continuously focus on one thing. And of course, Ahsoka is still going to be my favorite canon character. But I do like these new characters a lot. I do like the new story style that they're doing with Rebels. And all in all, it's really good. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 because there really wasn't anything bad other than it felt too fast. And that was probably because it was just like really good, so it felt like it just went by in such a hurry. But this series is really good. There's obviously a few minor flaws. It's not perfect, but it is really, really enjoyable and really, really good. So I highly recommend watching this when it comes out. I highly recommend watching the TV series. I'm going to be doing reviews, hopefully, on each episode of the TV series as well. And it's going to be awesome. So thank you for watching. Please make sure to subscribe if you want to see more reviews of Star Wars Rebels or, you know, toys, comics, anything. I do all that stuff, you know. Don't have to subscribe, but you can. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So thank you for watching, and until next time, Boba7772 out.